2018 Jeep Wrangler first drive review, because it's there. More refined, without losing the immaculateness of its embodiment. 24 degrees, inclined. We end up on New Zealand's South Island, roosted on a saturated, abrupt mountainside east of Lake Hoya, following a long morning slither down the edge of Mount Prospect and intersection the Lindas River a bigger number of times than I could recall. While my rough terrain spotters examine the benefits of endeavoring to crawl forward as opposed to throwing in the towel the thin way cut in the slope, I take a look at the pitch and roll highlights showed between the measures of the new Jeep Wrangler. It was at any rate as educational as the view out the windshield, which by that point was generally sky and peaks, with the periodic sight of a spotter's head jabbing up finished the hood. For reference, the steepest cleared street on the planet is 20 degrees. Not that there was anybody to converse with. My driving accomplice had jumped out a few minutes sooner, in the wake of viewing the Jeep ahead battle with a similar snag. We made plans to make it without the help Jeep's sparing winch, however it was a shaky position. I expected to influence a left turn up this 24-degree to slant, with a more extreme tough incline to my prompt left and a similarly sheer drop to my quick right. For good measure, the light rain falling for as long as our had transformed the slope into a sloppy wreckage. I didn't resent my co-driver his decision to safeguard, I energized it. We're here in light of the fact that an all-new Jeep Wrangler is an uncommon thing to see, one that arrives once in 10 years at most. It is the rough banner conveyor of the Jeep marque, the SUV, and the most emblematically vital vehicle Fiat Chrysler makes, which must be appropriately exhibited in the most extraordinary conditions. It's likewise a chronological error, an extra from a past period of vehicle making that, had it never existed past, could never be endorsed by a capable corporate board today. It likewise is the one vehicle on the planet that could appropriately surmount this crazy obstruction, and the Jeep people needed to demonstrate it. The Jeep Wrangler bodes well and none by any means, and it must be acknowledged by a fiercely given fan base that will endure no shortcoming. Luckily for everybody included, it doesn't have many flaws. Truth be told, it has so few we should simply get them off the beaten path. To start with, the grasp take-up on the 6-speed manual transmission is so obscure even our office mates at JP and 4-wheel and off-road were slowing down. Second, the V6 still feels somewhat gutless at low RPM on asphalt in spite of changes. That about spreads it. Back on that slope, I was driving a two-entryway Rubicon with the standard 3.6-liter V6 and discretionary 8-speed programmed. It makes an indistinguishable 285 horsepower and 260 pounds-to-foot from earlier yet improves mileage and low-end torque. At creeping speeds and with four-wheel drive outfitting points of interest, torque wasn't an issue. After 2 days, driving once more into town in a heavier 4-entryway Rubicon Unlimited with a similar motor yet standard 6-speed manual, the absence of snort was more evident. The gigantic change in ride quality was likewise more obvious out and about. Try not to stress. Despite everything it drives like a truck, only one from this century. Moving the stun's more distant detachable and raising the move focus have truly diminished the head hurl and effect cruelty in regular driving. Getting to the trail has never been so lovely. In spite of the fact that you'll invest much more energy in the street than the trail, we know you couldn't care less about that part, so how about we plunge over into the mud? After lunch on the trail, it was a higher speed 2-track out to camp with one final stream intersection to round things out. As though to drive the purpose of the new age's brilliance home, one of the past age Rubicon Unlimited